Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me on my book summary. The book I have for you guys today is Finding the Uncommon Deal. Finally, a real estate book, right? I actually got this book from a transaction that I did where I was representing the buyer and Adam Leitman Bailey was the representing attorney on the seller side. Adam has actually been named a super lawyer by the Law and Politics magazine. So that alone is very impressive, and I'm excited to share this with you guys. Because this book was published in 2011 and I work in New York City, which is an ever rapidly changing market, even from week to week, there's some things in here that are a little bit outdated, but I think I did a pretty good job of picking and choosing things that could be really relevant in any market, in any climate, and any transaction. First thing I'd like to point out that Adam shares with us in this book, studies have shown that most people have more equity in their homes than they do in any other asset. That includes retirement accounts, stocks, and savings. The US government has promoted home ownership through tax benefits, credits, and other economic expenses. Homeownership is such an important privilege, it is even protected in the amendments to the US Constitution. Now let's explore some of the advice that Bailey has offered us when selecting an attorney. By selecting an attorney early on in the game, that's going to put you immediately ahead of competing buyers who have not done so, therefore won't be able to continue with the negotiation and therefore close the deal. The number one complaint Bailey tells us that clients have about their attorneys is their failure to return phone calls. So when you're receiving referrals from family, friends, neighbors, whatever it may be sure to ask them for not only the positive feedback, but as well the negative feedback. When you're working with a larger firm, it is important to ask who will be representing you throughout the transaction and attending the closing. For bigger firms, they tend to oversee the deal, but they aren't actually actively involved in the negotiation, and typically they would not attend the closing. So be sure to ask for clarification on how involved your attorney will be, Bailey tells us. Let's break down very briefly the difference between condos, co-ops, and condops. A condo is real property. A co-op, on the other hand, is shares in a corporation. And for this reason, they tend to have an extra layer of rules and regulations. And finally, what is a condop? In the most common understanding, as Adam shares with us, a condop is a cooperative building that follows the rules of a condominium. So for example, a condop has a cooperative building, structure, and ownership, but with very limited rules on rentals, pets, board approval, so on and so forth. So moving on, Adam shares with us that there are multiple costs involved in owning a home. Now, all of these costs can be grouped into two main categories. The first category is taking ownership, and the second category is maintaining ownership. Now, Adam tells us to be aware because many lenders and boards require that you put down 20% of the purchase price at closing, and sometimes even more. But you should always aim to put down as little as possible in case for whatever reason the deal does not go through. You do not want to forfeit your deposit to the sellers. You can always add more at the closing, but in the initial contract signing, you should always put down as little as possible. Now, when it comes to insurance, Adam shares with us, insurance companies expect an average of one claim every 7 years. So you may want to hold off on filing a claim until it's significant and costly. Resisting the urge to do so could cause them to raise your rate considerably after the 1-year contract expires. Also, Because insurance companies keep a shared database of customers' claim history, a history of frequent claims may very well destroy your chances of obtaining insurance through another company in the future. So that's it. That's what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys found this information useful. I know I enjoyed reading his work and I look forward to exploring more of it. So to finish it off, I of course have a quote from the book. The person who makes and saves $1,000 is richer than the person who makes and spends $1,000. See ya.